Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the WGU Alumni Podcast. I'm Jeff Burton from the WGU Alumni team, and we're thrilled to have you tuning in once again. Our episodes continue to roll on. We are tackling the theme of It's Never Too Late, and we have another distinguished graduate joining the podcast today. Juan Longoria has more than 20 years of leadership experience in customer service and other fields. Over the past decade, Juan has earned 3 business degrees from WGU, his bachelor's in business management, a master's in business administration, and a master's in management and leadership. In 2022, he was also named a distinguished graduate of WGU. Juan, it's great to see you. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. Love the school. Love what you guys are doing.
Super excited to catch up with you. You've done a lot of things that we want to dive in and hear about and give you a platform to be able to share that with our growing audience. But as you know, Juan, we have students and graduates living across the country in all 50 states. And one of the things we like to do is just hear what the best thing about your hometown is. So where in Texas do you hail, and what's the best thing about living there?
I am from San Benito, Texas, but I live in Harlingen, Texas, which is right next door in the Rio Grande Valley of South Texas. So way down at the bottom, close to the border with Mexico. So many great things. The people has to be the top answer, but if we're looking for something a little more fun, I would have to say you can't beat the Tex-Mex down here. The tacos, street tacos are chef's kiss.
I also want to ask you, what is the most exciting thing that you are working on right now?
The most exciting thing I am working on right now, at work, it's just the continued growth and all the good things we're doing at the company I work for. In my personal life, I do run a nonprofit in the nights and weekends, and I'm working on a special project. You're the first to hear about it. I'm calling it the Lo Nuestro Collective. And it's basically putting together a group of successful individuals across many fields that want to give their time and their knowledge back to the communities that they came from, without necessarily making a profit or charging people for it. So truly free mentorship, guidance, content that anyone can get, whether you're from here or not.
That's awesome. What led you to take on this new endeavor?
I've been really fortunate through the guidance of my parents to finish my education through school, like WGU, that gave me a chance to finish my degrees while very busy in the corporate world and having great mentors along the way. I think everyone deserves that same opportunity. So, now that I'm a little bit later in my career and I've experienced some success, I want to help people kind of get to where I'm at without the struggles that I had. One of the things I look back to my grandfather that always taught me was, if you're going to do something, learn how to do it well, and then make it easier for someone else to do the same. So that's the part of my life I'm in right now, is hopefully finding a way to make it easier for others who are just starting their career journeys that want to get to the level where I'm at to get there faster.
That's great. Well, I want to dive into your journey, if that's okay. And I want to ask you, what brought you to WGU? Why did you decide to go back to school in the first place?
I was at a part of my career where I've always been really good at the jobs that I've had. It's you call it work ethic, call it growing up Hispanic. You just got to go work hard. But meeting a right mentor that said, "Hey, you should be my boss. I don't know why you're not at a higher level of this company than you currently are." It wasn't insulting, but it made me question, was he right? And I started thinking about, why am I not at a senior manager or a director or a VP at some point? And it really got me thinking about what I had to do to get there. So obviously I had a subject matter expertise at the company I was at the time. I had a really great reputation. What I didn't have was a degree to solidify my expertise within the company and my tenure. That role had me traveling around the globe, managing vendor relations with our BPOs from a customer service aspect. So a brick and mortar school didn't really work out for me. I couldn't attend class, and I couldn't even really commit to an online school that required, a comment in a thread every Tuesday and a paper due every Friday. And I saw an ad for WGU, and I just did some research, made a call, loved the program mentor I spoke to. It was flexible. It allowed me to leverage my experience in a way that allowed me to kind of fast track through certain parts of the degree process. That it was just all around a win for me, and it worked very well for me. And so much so that I got my bachelor's done, my MBA, and very quickly went to get my other master's. It was a great find, and I'm happy to champion at WGU everywhere I go.
Well, we appreciate that very much. You're, as I mentioned, a great ambassador, and one thing I wanted to highlight is WGU has a large bus, and we call it the Sage Coach. Play on words here. Our mascot, the owl, Sage, and help me remember this one. Your picture is featured on this bus, is it not? On this Sage Coach?
It is on the back right-hand side. Really great picture. The artist did a great job of capturing not just my kind of the image I was trying to portray, but I think everybody else who was on the bus. It was really a great experience to be in New Orleans to see that in person. Definitely a super proud moment. Had a lot of questions about it. More than anything, it allows me to share my story in different ways with different people about why I ended up there, how I ended up there. But it lets me talk about my kind of upbringing, working as a migrant worker in the fields with my older relatives, to now being a leader in the corporate world, and how WGU was a good kind of bridge between those two.
Yeah, what a great story you have, and that's right. I want to say that was it 2 years ago? I remember meeting you at that unveiling in New Orleans. I think there are 6 or 7 individuals featured. WGU has distinguished graduates that we actually kicked off in our 25th anniversary year, which was the year that we honored you and your story. And yeah, I love to, hopefully you love that too. I love to think that bus is traveling through the country, and that Juan is on the bus as, again, a great representation of what hard work and dedication can look like, recognizing it's never too late to go back to school and to make something happen, to really go after your dreams.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think, when I started my degree journey at WGU, was really going back to finish what I had started in my younger years in brick and mortar schools. And I was already a senior manager by the time I started to get motivated to kind of get my bachelor's to help me on my way to director. So it's never too late is absolutely correct. It's one of the things I talk to my employees all the time is, if they haven't started, it is never too late to get started. The years are going to go by, might as well. And WGU is always top of my list when I recommend people on what school to look for. People are just so busy that unless you are in a very specific circumstance where you don't have to work, it's really hard to find a way to get to accomplish your educational goals without a school like Western Governors University.
Now, Juan, how was the decision of going back to school at WGU? How would you say that was connected to a bigger dream that you had for your life?
Yeah, I was a senior manager. I had a really great director at the time who was pushing me to pursue my career goals. There's obviously a significant pay increase when you go from a senior manager to a director role, along with some additional benefits. In addition to my passion to making a difference and giving back to my community. And I knew that when you start looking around the room, even if I was one of the most respected senior managers within the company, I wasn't the only one. And as you start looking around, like most people should, right? You do a SWOT analysis on your competition, even at an individual level. I noticed a degree is something that I didn't have that others might, that would help solidify my journey to director. In addition to that, I was always kind of exposed to conversations with VPs and our chief care officer, and I never felt out of place, but there were conversations that happened that I felt like I didn't really have anything to contribute, especially around finance and accounting. I knew what words like EBITDA meant, but I didn't know how they played into the grand scheme and how to talk about my contribution to EBITDA or how it even works into my strategy as a leader. So that gap isn't easily solved by taking a free course online or by talking to someone necessarily. That's where going through these degree programs at WGU really gave me the confidence where I didn't have it to stand up and be part of a conversation that is a huge component of getting promoted or advancing your career. You can't have a seat at the table if you don't have something to contribute to that table.
Was there anything holding you back from doing it sooner?
Yeah, the fact that I was traveling the globe as part of my job, I just couldn't really attend a brick and mortar school, online schools back then, because I wasn't really looking. there was a couple of, I would say maybe at the time, bigger names in WGU, this was many years ago, that just didn't work for me with their structure. It wasn't until like I said, I stumbled across WGU online and I was like, this is what I've been looking for the past several years. And I think within like 2 weeks, I'd signed up and get ready to get started.
What would you say was the biggest unexpected surprise from going back to school?
How fun it was, honestly. I think it was great for two reasons. One, again, because of the way WGU formats your degree journey, there are some courses that may be easier based off of your experience because it's things you've done daily, right? For me, anything that was organizational leadership associated or management, it didn't seem like a challenge that much because it's stuff I did every day. But I did learn more of the formal kind of information to have a conversation with anybody versus what I perceived it to be in my own mind through my own experience. However, when you come to things like finance and accounting that were not my favorite subjects ever, and still probably aren't, but going through them, it was challenging, and being able to learn and walk away with that knowledge that turns into confidence felt really good. And it was very motivating in itself to know that, yes, you have the mentors and you have your course instructors, but you're doing it on your own. And I think for people like me, that alone makes you want to go faster and further because it's almost like that instant gratification of something you're actually doing for yourself in a way that makes the most sense to you.
Now, can you think of another time in your life when you decided it wasn't too late to go after a dream or a hobby, an interest, something like that?
Absolutely. Now, I think this month, the road I talked about earlier in starting this project of the Lo Nuestro Collective, I think, as I'm still in my early 40s, so I've still got a few more years of work in to do, but I'd like to, as I kind of plan my exit strategy from the corporate work place, my goal, I would love to be some sort of, consultant, speaker, where I kind of get to do things on my own time when I want to. And I'm kind of mapping my path of credibility to that place now. And I think one of the things is getting out and getting your brand, your personal brand out there. And what is your niche? What do you want to talk about? What do you know? What have you done that allows you to be an authority in a certain field? And I think with all of my years of experience in customer service, customer success, that whole realm of providing great customer experiences and bringing people back to whatever it is that you're offering. I've had a lot of success there internally in the vendor management space. It's scary, but to get out there and do a podcast, do a TikTok, do a YouTube, make shorts, put out content, maybe, take an attempt at writing a short book or an ebook. Sometimes I think people who are in my space are like, oh, that's for the younger generation. That's for people in their 20s that are influencers and doing the right thing. But it's never too late, right? I think there's a lot of great examples of people who started and, your first time at anything is never going to be great. I'm a very avid practitioner of situational leadership where, anything you do for the first time, no matter how good you are at anything else, is going to require development and nurturing. But you can't get to being an expert in a space without first taking that first step and being a newbie to it. So I'm going through it right now. It's never too late to get started on the things that you're passionate about. So hopefully I can be an example to others there too, right? Get started and see where it goes.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I'm smiling here as I'm listening to you because I think you are a wonderful example of this. And I want to give you an opportunity to maybe share one or two additional life hacks or career gems that you've received in your career over the years, whether that's in the corporate world or the things that you've learned in the nonprofit space. So do you have any additional insights or things that have been helpful and motivating for you to lead you to the success that you've had?
Yeah, the biggest thing is find yourself a good mentor. I think too many people go through life on their own without giving themselves a chance to make it easier. Now, you may be met with resistance. You can't, certainly you can't, message a CEO of a big company on LinkedIn and expect for them to sign up to be your mentor. But there's plenty of people who are in successful positions that would do that for you. And I think I learned that lesson a little bit later than I should have. That held me back. I think I might be a level or two further along in my career had I gotten mentors earlier. I have plenty now. But if you're feeling stuck and you don't know what direction to take or what your next step should be on your career journey, whether it's getting promoted or applying for a different job or even getting hired if you're just out of school, find yourself a mentor. You may have to ask 15 people before one says yes, but the one that says yes is going to be truly committed to you, and will be a huge help to you. But you got to put yourself out there and understand that everyone deserves a mentor. And if you can't find one, and if you're in the similar space as I am, happy to be that person for somebody.
You're kind. And I love, Juan, that you've highlighted here the importance of mentorship, which those that have gone to WGU understand the value of a mentor, right? You're speaking maybe in a little bit in terms of, a volunteer, not a professional, assistance through your coursework. But I love the work that you're doing and your exciting new endeavors that you're going to be helping others. Like you're practicing what you're preaching and how important that is, which is super exciting to hear.
Yeah, like I said, I've been very fortunate through great opportunities, mentorship, and I think we should all learn to pat ourselves on the back through hard work that I'm in a spot where I can give back. And, that's what I really want to do. That's what excites me. If I could do that every day and pay the bills, I would start doing that today, but I'm on that path. And speaking of mentors, hopefully she's still at WGU, but I had one of the best, I think, throughout a long part of my journey. Her name was Molly Hoyle. And I still reach out to her every now and then just to shoot her an email and just say, hey, I haven't forgotten about your help. Thank you for what you do. And I think the mentors at WGU are often unappreciated. I think people often look at them as somebody to police your progress of sorts and you kind of be on your case, but they know what they're doing. They understand how to read individuals and provide the best recommendations for them to be successful in their goals. And I'd say if you're new to WGU or if you're not, give your mentor a little bit more love. They're out there doing what they can for you, whether you know it or not.
That's great. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Shout out to Molly, to all the mentors that assist our students to help them be successful. Juan, I want to ask what you hope to accomplish over the next 1 to 2 years outside of what you've already mentioned. You've mentioned a couple new initiatives that you're working on, but either professionally or personally, is there something, a goal or things that you're focusing on to accomplish over the next couple of years?
Yeah, outside of what I've spoken to, I think it's just, do all the things that I'm trying to do without sacrificing being a good dad. I've got kids that are 7 and 9 currently. It's a fun age, but they deserve and warrant a lot of time. So making sure that I'm there for them when they need me as a priority, while still getting all the other things I want to get done for myself and for them in a way, is super huge. But I think, we live in a crazy place and there's a lot of reasons to either not want to engage with others or look to keep your circle very small. And there's no right or wrong way to do it in my eyes. But we could all benefit by leaning into each other and sharing a little bit more. So if I can make that difference for one person, then life is good.
We just appreciate your engagement, your involvement. You've been great there in South Texas, which is a really important footprint for us. We have a lot of students, a lot of graduates in Texas, and I know that you're a leader there. This has been a really good interview. It's been great to hear about the things that you're involved in and the goals that you're setting. I want to ask you first, if people want to connect with you, where's the best place that they can find you?
Yeah, LinkedIn is probably the best place. As I've gotten older, my Facebook and everything else has gotten a little more private. But definitely LinkedIn is the way to go if you want to get a hold of me.
Okay, reach out on LinkedIn. And then as we conclude the interview, I'd love to really toss this to you to give you the final word. So anything as we close this down, any parting words, I'd love to hear those from you.
No, I think what I said is hopefully everybody is feeling supported in their journeys, whatever part of their journey they're at. And those same words that my grandfather gave to me: if you're going to do something, learn to do it extremely well, and then make it easier for others to do the same.
I love that. Thanks so much, Juan. Appreciate the time today.
Likewise. Thank you.